So today we're just going to have a look around at this Boss planter, do a visual inspection just to see what might need attention to leading up to planting. What we want to look at here mainly is whether we have any oil leakages happening in and around the shaft seal area. We're also looking at the fittings that are going inside the cylinder here to see where there's any leakage around the top here. Just spotted inside here at the present moment, as we can see here, we have a situation where we have oil leaking down a fail O-ring. I would suspect back inside this coupling. You can see the oil running out of there now. In this case, it's a Parker Brunning. We're just looking at the wear that's on this breakaway itself. Tip there is probably on the point where it needs to be replaced, along with the O-ring, and some work needs to be done around that breakaway coupling. Looking at one of the foal cylinders here, yet again, just doing a quick inspection to see what condition they are. Generally, you can tell by where there's, you can look at the wiper seal that's back inside of here. See if it's got any cracks, like hairline cracks particularly is what we'll be looking for. It's just inspecting the cylinders, ports, fittings to make sure that they don't require O-ring replacements. And this is the high pressure line for the air seater fan motor at the back. Basically just looking at this coupling here to see if there's any damage around this leading edge here, the return line, also that comes back from the fan. We're also looking at the hydraulic hoses, what condition they're in. Bit of flogging around happening here, mainly because these are the hoses that run back against on the back of the tractor, so that's not unusual. I don't think it's actually busted the steel wire to a point where it's going to endanger it. And yet again, just going to the other side fold cylinder to see what condition it's in as well. So while these shafts are out, something to watch for on the shafts is to see what condition the chrome is in. You need to just run your hand up and down the shaft, just feel whether it's got any marks on it that's going to actually tear the seals that are in the end of the cylinder to pieces and cause it to leak. Moving back towards, in this case, it's a Gyrol air seater cart. Obviously some oil leakages and stuff happening in and around these areas. They're not wet, which means they're only weeping issues. Normally that can just be caused by an O-ring. Check the tension on some of the fittings that are in and around there, what we call the blow-off relief valve. So just something to watch and look for, the condition that relief's in. In the process we're looking, we can notice that this hose is getting pretty old and not in very good condition. It needs to be replaced. The pressure line that's going in on the fan motor here at the moment, we can see that it's all oily and wet. It means it's weeping when it's hot and under pressure. That's your high pressure line. The recommendation that you'd replace that hose. Taking this cover off the back, we want to have a good look inside. You'd normally spin the shaft like I'm doing now, and that's a pretty fair indication as to what condition your actual bearings are in. You can see that it's very moist on the coupling and very wet. What's happening there is that the shaft seal that's back inside this fan motor here is starting to fail. Coming into planting time, that this could be obviously a very good cause of failure. This is probably something that I'd certainly be looking at wanting to replace in this application. Looking over this machine today, it's in fair condition. I think the cylinders are more than adequate to do the next season. Being able to highlight things like I would have concern around the fan motor and probably just a couple of hoses at this point. Breakaway fitting issue in the centre there, but all in all it's in pretty fair condition, ready for hopefully a nice wet spring season to plant.